Okay, Ken, you can take that take over again.
And I'm now sharing this screen, so you have control over the screen, Ken.
So this is just a sample company called IAPDA. This is a certification entity, and it's actually for a relaunch of a new CRM that we're doing with the flagship product going out to a call center in Egypt, representing American debt settlement companies. This is all test data, obviously, as you can see. The idea here is that each one of these blocks is what's called a data view. And a data view is very versatile. It can be set up however you want to have any number of what are called fields that represent the data. Each row is also called a record, and the row could be a property. And property has certain elements: email address, address of the owner, etc. And you can either get data associated with a property, or edit the data, or add new data. So all data views have child linking capability with different flavors of links available as a setting. As you can see, if we focus on one record, any corresponding data views get their records automatically highlighted. What we're doing for Del Norte is a lot simpler than this. It's basically a single object called properties. The user at the municipality, without us being there, can edit the characteristics of an object very quickly, including the display name of the object and the fields. They can even do something like this. You see how it says make data model from Excel file? So
Right.
what I'm going to do is bring in, for the first time in history, all the data from El Salvador, called Formulario 000926. And it's an Excel document. And this is not ready to go yet, but look at this. We just modified the data view to actually be this data, all of this Spanish data that represents a property. Now I'm going to go one step better in a moment, if I can move this out of the way. I'm going to close this. And by the way, this mode string represents what people can do with the data, how it gets displayed. What happens when you send a record containing this data? Does it send the field or not? Why would you want to? Is it required to be sent? Etc., etc. So all of the all the minutia that's involved with a workflow is considered here. What are the basic operations on searching on a particular field? Equals, in like. Anyway, let me close this, not to overwhelm people. But had I saved that, then all of this data would be changed to represent the property data of a municipality. That's how versatile this system is. This just shows the search results. The last thing we searched on. We searched on all records, about 75 of them, but there could be 1 million of them, and there are in some of my other companies. As many as 1 million records in a given data view. These are the operands. We might want to see every prospect with a last name equaling that, and focus just on that record, so it's just one record. I'm going to just show you one more.
Is that metadata? Or this is sub-meta?
So metadata is the term used to describe all data that an NFT specifically points to. So we can say, yes, we can say all data, because metadata is data. The reason it's called metadata is because the data itself is not stored on blockchain, so we call it metadata. But let's not, it's premature to use that term right now, but we'll get to that. No, it's okay, but we'll get to that. Anyway, so this guy, Arturo, when we highlight him, has a bunch of trade lines. These are active accounts. And I just want to show you something. I'm going to go into the new clients screen, and these are all highlighted based on this guy. And what we're going to do is we're going to click fill agreement on a banking agreement. This happens to be a banking agreement for Reliant, which is one of the larger escrow banks. And this ACH agreement we can populate. You see these fields here? They all point to certain exact data in different data views. So if we click autofill, the data is filled from this record because that's the highlighted record. And I want to point out that any feature I'm showing you now will be available to all our customers, just as an FYI, because
Del Norte.
yeah. To all of Del Norte's customers, right? All of our governments, right? So we auto-filled this data. We could save it as a PDF, but before we do, let's just assume that I'm not the employee. Rather, I saved a pre-filled form and I sent it, I Gmailed it to the customer by clicking Gmail and then actually, oh, I'm going to admit Jim Hurd, okay.
So the customer is a property owner.
It could be a property owner, and we're going to actually email a pre-filled PDF to the property owner. So it says, welcome to the municipality of El Salvador. Please download the attached PDF and then use it and fill it. And then it gives them a link to fill it, just like DocuSign does. And that link, when they click it, brings up the PDF partially filled where they can change data and they can sign. So Arturo, signs here. Let me clear that and do an actual signature that might be legible. But I mean, and then as soon as I'm off of it, it dates it, it provides a hash code of the dated signature, and there's actually a provenance page that appears at the bottom for verifiability, right? So this is just an extra feature that, took a long time to be better than DocuSign. Anyway, so we would save it and then send it to the customer. They would send it back. And when they send it back and we upload it, if we click extract data on that signed document, if there's any changes at all, they'll appear in yellow here so that the municipality can upload those changes. This is an extra auxiliary feature. It's not something we're introducing in the first pass, meaning they'll have access to it, but they're not going to be using it. This is something, hey, oh, you want this? Guess what? You have it. So just showing you how mature the system is. Where is this data being stored? Wherever you want it to be stored. It's being stored currently in Google Cloud. It could be
So
stored
this will
in
be
Salesforce.
localized into Spanish and Portuguese eventually.
Well, yes, it could. Yes, in fact, if you remember when I went in here to change this data view to be something completely different with a different name, like called properties, which I don't want to modify this just yet. I could save it locally just to show you, but I don't want to take that chance. And change a given demo company. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out of here and log back into El Salvador company in a moment. But anyway, if you recall, we did this, make data from Excel file, and this was the actual Excel file representing the data from El Salvador and the structure they want for their municipalities. And this shows it right here. If I save this, if I just click, save this match or save it locally, it would save this in such a way that as soon as I close this, all of this data is now appears in Spanish, and this name now says properties. So now, lo and behold, it's a properties object. Now, again, this is that part. Just doing it like that was just added today. So we're going to actually test it for the first time, and we just did test it for the first time in front of you, and it worked. But now we'll go one step further and actually change the object. So let's do that by logging out and logging in as the property, as the El Salvador government. I don't know if there's anything else I should show you here except perhaps this. Let me just show you this. Let's say they want to do some charting. You can see this. You see that? And all of these things are settings. You can change things around very quickly and change what you're charting, distributions, everything. It's much more advanced than any government has access to now, surely. I mean, they don't do this stuff. If they do, they hire third-party companies to do it for them and pay millions of dollars for it. They have separate analytics companies, but now everything's in one place. They don't like the way this appears. They want to add another column. They just, add the column. So now last name appears too. You want to sort by a particular object, you sort. Ascending, descending, right? So it's very versatile. And you want to change what's available to you as even a property or an object, you just add it here. You just, now we've got something that we heard forgotten field. We just add it here, forgotten field, and the characteristics of that field, how you want to edit, add mode, display, how you want to send that data, and that's it. We're not going to save that change. Okay.
It's a very impressive demo. I mean, too much detail for this audience, perhaps, but I think this is brilliant, and the fact that you're showing us the improvements that you made today is amazing.
Let me just add a couple more things. There's a call feature where we're adding AI agents to the call. I mean, just ridiculous amount of stuff. The AI, it's already added, but you can't hear it. But if I click this button right now, that's my phone number. It's actually going to call. Oh, well, okay, so a change I made, so it's not going to call. But typically, you just click this, it opens up this call thing, and it calls. But because this is an active development feature, because we just added AI agents.
It's full CRM integrated with the DocuSign type features and interaction with the government.
And fields. Yeah, and
localized into Spanish and Portuguese. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can set encrypt tokens representing various for everything. There's all sorts of sub elements to this.
So the API key can be linked to an NFT, for example.
Yeah, so let's get into that now. We can get into that
That's a layer of detail I don't think everyone needs right now. I think this is a pretty comprehensive demo. And
where do you feel the title companies fit in going forward, or are they consumed within this?
Title companies are not. Say that one more time.
Title companies, will they be running most of this effectively for the government, or do they become the government? Or
title companies were not even entered into any realm of thought so far. Now they could be. I would need about an hour just to sit alone and think about that. But I can answer your question right now. As it is now, I see no relevance for title companies at all in anything that we're doing. Now, that's a horrible answer, always to say no, right? That's why I wanted to take an hour to think about it. But as it is now, there seems to be no necessity.
They don't add value, really. They're just taking a cut for transacting what you have in here, basically.
But on a higher level, the title company is really just a data point. It's just another data point that could appear here. So instead of last name, we would just add a field here called we would just add a field down here called is titled, for example, or title detail, and it could just be an object, and that could just be one field that contains an entire object representing the owner of the title company, has it passed title, the confidence level, the details of the trail of who owned it before, et cetera, et cetera. The provenance of it could just be a data point.
So the title company or anyone could create a decentralized app, and if somebody's foolish enough to pay an extra fee,
there you go. There you go, Robert. That's right. That fits much better into our business model because Anton's already envisioned a DApp platform.
Actually, real quick. So as it stands in Latin America right now, which was our original target market, I mean, obviously we're expanding into the United States now, but title companies, they cover less than 5% of the properties in general in any of the given countries. Ken himself is a landlord, a significant one in Costa Rica, and he can tell you that he's had issues with not having title insurance because it's not a thing there.
Yeah.
So we're not really going up the stream against title companies in Latin America. They don't exist.
Yeah.
There's only a few huge properties that have title insurance.
So I have a hard stop at 11 in about 14 minutes. I was wondering, how do we use the next 14 minutes? Thank you, Ken. I know you could go on for an hour with a more detailed demo, and someday we'll do that.
Oh, actually, because I have to go as well, but if you have the time for literally 30 seconds, I potentially just want to show you this last thing here. Just this is MuniProp El Salvador in its beginnings, right? And as you can see, it contains nothing. It contains a tab called Properties. Just, the most flexible system is the system that starts with nothing, right? So here you are. You've got a system with nothing. And if the very first thing you want to do is add an object, and you want that object to be the actual data from the municipality, we click Make Data Model from Excel File, and we click this one, And for the very first time in history, we have the El Salvador property data view. Now, I don't know if this is going to work because it's never been tested, because this is from today. But if we click, you can already see the data is here. But if we click Add, Save Local, I don't want to even save this. Okay, so that's not going to work at this time. No, there's one data point missing. But and it could be the display name, because I didn't actually write property here. Properties. And if I do, maybe it'll work.
Great. This is proof of concept, and I know we have to focus on liquidity for the next 10 minutes.
Very good, then.
But
very good.
I do want to interrupt and thank you so much for this time. Valuable. Really insightful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Does anybody have any last-minute questions before Ken leaves?
Ken, thank you.
I need to transfer control back to you, possibly, because if I leave, perhaps.
Yes.
How do I do?
Go ahead.
How do I do that?
Transfer host back. Well, you click on host and
Where's
click
host
on
here?
my name or something.
I see more.
I don't need host anymore.
Okay.
I don't need it.
So I can
Mary
just
Jo,
leave. Everyone won't be disconnected.
Thank you,
I can just leave right now.
If you leave, that's fine. And thank you. This is the first of many calls. Thank you
All right,
very much.
I'm going to stop the share at least, and then you guys can continue.
Yeah, but that was a brilliant demo, and thank you for working on the details.
Sure.
So everyone's thanking you now. So really appreciate you. Thank you, and I'm glad you joined the team. From the board of directors, we thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you again, Ken. So go ahead, Anton, if you could refocus for the next 10 minutes on next steps for listing. You have enough money for one ICO, and then you're raising money through a pre-sale through these large communities, like 1 million and plus people. Some percentage will provide pre-sale money of $50 to $100 times 1,000 people. Is you could use that money to list on another centralized exchange or decentralized exchange. Is that correct? So, and that's happening in the next 20, 30 days. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. So the demo you saw, Ken is actually making a comprehensive demo that we can put up on our website. It'll be on our social media. Now I've seen parts of it and stuff. I post in the channel, in our TV news channel quite often, any and all updates. So like I said, we're good enough to go live now. I did want to, because we only get one chance at this, I am stacking the deck in our favor as much as I can. We are negotiating with politicians, with celebrities, with our KOL, which is our key person of influence. It's a crypto term for crypto influencers. We're going on these launch pads. We were waiting for this demo that should be live today, tomorrow, this week, that you just saw, but updated one with everything working. And I don't see any reason that we would not be raising at least in the low millions, if not in the tens of millions, just because the market is, the market died for meme coins, but I can see, because you can see this on chain and you can kind of see, I talk to people in the government, the C community and whatnot. Everybody is repositioning to go after the real serious projects that have real world utility. That's where the big money is going to flow. So us being really, if not the only project that has government contracts and is actually doing this type of stuff and already has things to show, not just has an idea and, we're going to do this and that. Like, no, we did this. Like, we are now expanding.
So you're differentiated from prop tech as a gov tech, but there is an overlap. You also do prop tech.
Of course. But we're not a prop. We're not going to tokenize your house. We're going to tokenize your town or your city or your country, and then you'll call the local government or go online, and then you'll tokenize your house yourself.
So going back to token generation event, do you have a target date for the TGE?
As soon as I have the launchpad date, I will have the date for the TGE within 48 hours after that.
But this is still targeted for late this month, like February 28th, March 10th.
If everything goes as planned, yeah, it'll still be last week of this month, or early or like first week of next month.
Okay.
There's nothing really holding us back other than this one thing. That's it.
Meaning the community, the large community signing up.
We want all the big projects today, all the successful ones certainly, they're going through launch pads. Why are they going through launch pads? Because I don't have a VC that gave me $10 million. Now, would that change?
You had an interest in $1 million. Is that still on the table? The $1 million?
Yeah, of course.
And it's, how warm are they? Are they?
I'm literally driving to Miami for a bunch of meetings.
Got it. Okay, so you're hopefully closing in the next week or two, $1 million. Okay,
but if I don't, it's okay because I'll close it for the public.
So you met a lot of political leaders. Go ahead.
Is somebody like David Sachs aligned with you since he's the crypto and AI czar now? Are you?
Yes. So I got direct access to a lot of the people in the Trump's administration. Mm-hmm. Again, I was literally at the inauguration. Not at the actual inauguration. I was like at the
Eric Trump is probably above David, but they all work together.
Yes, yeah. I have. I'm one phone call away from all of his children. I
would definitely align with David Sachs if you can as well. He's going to be setting the policy.
I can tell you this. As soon as our thing is ready, polished, and certainly after we sign Miami, I can get my project in front of Elon Musk, in front of Doge.
Exactly, because David Sachs is actually parents with Elon Musk, and if they like it, then it will fly. That's why
one of the main alignments that I am trying to do and working on is I want either Elon or Trump or certainly somebody from the State Department who I am dealing with and from the federal U.S. government to mention us on Twitter. I know it sounds, tacky, let's say, but that mention is worth $1 billion in liquidity.
It's absolutely fine. It goes out to 215 million people. It's absolutely.
So we have 4.5 minutes. I want to give a chance to Anna or Orna or Nino or Jim to ask a 30-second question and get a 30-second answer.
Well, this is about the title that you're putting for the NFT. Does the owner, as we perceive it, the buyer of the property, own title to the company, or is it now going to be under the government, the true title, or under the bank?
No, it's the laws of how you own your house do not change. I'm not the court. I am just providing them, the government, a way to make everything digital.
Yeah,
and that's the easiest way to explain it. Like you still own your house,
no, you don't.
Your title is just now in a digital
format. Not, in the US, you do not own your house since about 2020. That got changed. That's kind of like it looks like you do, but you don't.
So unless you have like a freehold or what.
So we have 3 minutes We have 3 minutes. Is anyone else asking any other questions? Orna or Nino or Jim?
No. Will you run property tax evaluations from this database? Is that one of the forward things?
You'll be paying your taxes on our platform.
Yeah. Okay.
And every time you pay, you'll also be paying a little convenience fee. Or you're still welcome to go wait in line at the county clerk and pay taxes that way.
And so the model for this, as you build it up, you're going to transfer all titles in agreed zones by the government. So is that what I'm understanding, or it's going to be as and when somebody new comes along and wants to transfer title? How are you? I'm trying to understand the ramp model.
We are service provider to the government. So we give the stack to the government. They do with it as they like. They will push it out to the population.
So they can mandate their locality to go into it and change to this contract, basically.
Exactly. And then the way we sell it to the government is on a revenue share basis.
Right. So
Instead
you
of
can
just asking
have
them.
a,
Mhm.
if you can get a large, territories to agree, and then they mandate their localities, then the ramp would be very large. How do you view managing, any explosion like that of use? Have you got a strategy for managing the different territories? Like, because it takes time, right, to ramp and get it right.
So maybe I could answer that. Essentially, there's a registration process. So yes, to avoid a large influx, one could require in the workflow that registration has to occur either in person, live. That accomplishes KYC, but it also accomplishes a slow, passive input model. So the on-ramp is at that time, they take the half an hour to scan all documents or move all documents from an Excel file, from various digital formats that they might have in a centralized database into our system. And once it's in our system, then it's already semi-decentralized, and it's done passively. I also want to point out something Anton said earlier. Just we don't have much time here, but all we're doing is digitizing documents, making the country itself more stable. How? Because there's decentralization and verifiability, accountability. That's it. The process, the flows stay the same, but there's a little more control. If an owner wants to transfer a property without an attorney, he can just
30 seconds. We're shutting it off.
Okay.
So I want to thank everyone. If there's any other questions, you can send it to me, and I'll forward it to Ken and Anton to get detailed answers in writing if you have any questions that you couldn't ask at this time. But I think people are now comfortable that there's a roadmap for liquidity that's imminent and starting next month. And then we have a technology roadmap led by Ken. So this is awesome. This is a great presentation. It's been recorded, and I'll transmit it to
Send
Marty.
me a copy.
Absolutely. You'll get a copy. We had a lot of cutouts because of the bandwidth. But thanks so much, Anton, for organizing this. Thank you, Ken, again, many times. It's brilliant what you did. Really brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thanks Jim, for joining. Thanks, Anna, and thanks, Orna, and thanks, Nina, for joining.
Thank you.
And for your attention. And you'll be able to review this either transcript or the video, your choice. I'll send it to you as soon as I get it. Okay?
Thank you very much.
And then we'll have a separate accountability meeting with Mary Jo Ray.
Okay.
So you get all of the documents you've been asking for. And
Do you want to give a date on that, Robert?
we don't have a date. We have to have a mutual agreement
Okay, so
on
we
the date.
disconnect now?
Yes,
Well,
you can.
actually,
Separate meeting. Go ahead, Ken.
I was just going to say, I'm sharing my screen again. Here's the property object. There you go. It's a good way to leave us.
Oh, it works.
Well,
Very awesome.
Pinch for a bigger view. Thank you very much, Ken.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Boy, it takes like 40 seconds.
Anna, we'll set up a separate date.
40,000 properties.
Wow. Great.
That's awesome. 40,000 properties. That's great.
With
That's
85
amazing.
with 85
real
fields
data.
each, starting with the name of the property owner.
85 fields times 40,000 properties is a lot of data. Congratulations. That's a huge milestone.
All right, next phone call will show you the actual data in here. Take care,
Awesome.
everybody.
Thank you very much, Ken.
Okay.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, my friends. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Jim. Bye-bye.
Do you want to put a placeholder date in, Robert?
I don't have
let's do that.
one at the moment. I need it from you. You give me the date that everyone is free,
How about
or I'll
20
consult everyone.
25th of February, 2 weeks' time? Does that work?
Yeah, that's good. It could be
Hold
less, it
on,
could be
hold
sooner.
on. The 25th, I think
I
is
think-
not good for me. Hold on.
We're shutting it off now, so we'll have to do this offline by chat. We have a three-way chat. Why don't we do it there?
Okay, let's do it there.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah, the
Much better.
25th, fine.
Okay.
Okay, me too. Thank you.
Okay.
And we'll consult with Nina to make sure she's,
Confirmed.
and